Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my reading wrap up for February. Valentine's Day themed, of course, with the pink. When I originally set up this journal, I did lay down a little bit of pink and gold washi tape, so that was already there, but I did want to cover up the dragons in the corners because I did not read, surprisingly, any books this month with dragons in it, so I had a little bit of pink scrap paper that I just stuck down. And pro tip, if you are trying to do a scrapbook but you might be on a little bit of a budget, make sure you hold on to things like cards, envelopes, wrapping paper from celebration months like Christmas, birthdays. They will definitely come in handy and can be repurposed as decorations. So as you can see, I had a little bit of gold left over from Christmas wrapping paper and it matched so nicely. Of course, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte was on the February TBR, as I imagine it was for most people with the movie coming out. This beautiful pink edition is from Sweden. I actually got it for Christmas from my cousin, and I had never read the book before, so all I knew going into the story was that the movie was being advertised as a romance, whereas critics and fans of the book were saying the opposite, which is definitely true. The book has a lot more heavy themes and is told from the perspective of someone else. So you really are seeing exactly what is happening, which is actually kind of a sad story. It's two children that are definitely trauma bonded. It's not a real love story. We are watching their struggles with abuse and then basically becoming a product of their environment, where as they get older they continue the cycle of being horrible to themselves, to each other and to everybody around them. So it was actually quite a difficult read. For me it was like a 3-star. I don't think I would read it again, but it's a classic for a reason, right? It's really interesting to see how they thought and how they spoke in those times, whereas the movie is definitely the romanticized theatrical version. So I can see the criticism, but at the same time, I think because I wasn't emotionally attached to the book, I kind of went in knowing what to expect. So I enjoyed the cinematography, I loved the costumes, but overall it's definitely almost like you're seeing the story from the character's point of view, where they think they're in some sort of epic love story, but actually we know what it is, and that is trauma bonding. And then I thought the famous quote was perfect to write in the journal, which is, "Whatever our souls are made of, mine and his are the same." From the movie perspective, sounds romantic, but if you've read the book, you know, not quite. I left a little bit of space in the corner just to write my own thoughts off screen once I finished the spread. I also read The Second Death of Locke this month, and it was actually one of my book club picks. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with this one. I saw a lot of positive reviews online. I went in optimistic, and unfortunately, it just fell a little bit flat for me. Honestly, I found the characters kind of boring. The quest they're sent on at the beginning isn't too interesting either, and their only kind of ambition to do this is because they want to retire. So it's not like we are kind of starting off with like some sort of really exciting story or exciting characters. Everything just feels a little bit boring. We're just kind of trudging along. You do know that like exciting things are coming, but it's just a little bit slow at the start. And I found the magic unique but a little bit underwhelming. Same with the romance. I just wasn't emotionally invested in the characters or the story. It definitely does pick up in the second half of the book, but overall just a 3-star read for me. The next book I loved, and it was Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries, which I actually found for £1 on Vinted. So definitely check out Vinted if you are going book shopping. And in this story, we are following Emily, who is a scholar, a researcher, and she's writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore. But fairies, as we know them in the like more historical classic sense. So you've got the fae, but then you also have the small kind of mythical fairy creatures, which are kind of like a menace to society, you could say. So she's covering all bases, and this is what I read directly after Wuthering Heights because I'd heard a lot of people describe it as a cozy fantasy. No, I will say it is a little bit more slow paced. It's not like we're on some epic quest, but I don't know if cozy is the right word, because some of the stories and like little side quests that she goes on are a little bit eerie with some of the fairies, but it is the perfect winter read. I'm so glad that I listened to recommendations to read this in the colder months, because it is a very snowy, cold book. But I just love this. I loved the characters so much. I really related to Emily. She is a bookish girly like us. She's also quite introverted, which I definitely relate to. I just love being in my own space, reading my books, and I also loved the romance in this as well. The main male character is quirky, he's different, he's hilarious, he knits. I mean, what more do you need in a book? I just thought it was great. So many amazing quotes that I could have chosen from, and I've just popped my favorite up on the screen, and I just took a little excerpt of that when I was writing it in my journal. And overall, this was a 4-star read for me. The only reason it wasn't a 5-star is because the pacing did feel a little bit off. Aside from that, I'm so excited to read book 2 and book 3. I'll definitely be picking them up next month. And then lastly, we are also reading a series for my fantasy book club, and that is by Tracy Deonn. So we are up to book 2, which was Bloodmarked. And basically we learn in book 1 that we are in a urban setting. So we're at like a college campus with students, but it is a King Arthur retelling with its own twist. The author's writing is incredible. I feel like she's done such a good job to just add so many more unique layers to this story. For me, it's sitting at like a 3.5-ish star read, just because I generally don't like a contemporary setting. I don't like a modern school setting. I prefer my fantasy to be whimsy and a little bit old-fashioned, but the book itself is so well written, and if you enjoy that kind of urban setting, then this could easily be a 4 or 5-star read for you. But overall for me, it was just okay, but I'm still enjoying the story and I will definitely be finishing it. We learn a little bit more about the world in book 2. Obviously, I don't want to spoil anything. The only one issue I have with the book is that the main character just does not seem to be learning from her mistakes. She is always just running straight into danger and dragging along everyone else with her. So I'm really hoping she gets a little bit wiser as the books go along, but overall, it's a good read. As I said earlier, I've left some space underneath the quotes just where I can add some extra notes off screen, but now we're going to finish with decorating the page. So firstly, I grabbed my pink pen because I did want to mark in which books were series and what number that book was. And now we need to stick down the heading, and I actually decided to switch it out. I didn't like the pink background for February. I wanted something with light in the middle, so I got that. And then I also switched out the bouquet of flowers to some books, and these are all just things that I've printed off from Canva, and I just thought that looked a little bit nicer. So that is how the February spread turned out, which I thought was so pretty and pink and Valentine's themed. So now we're going to go and just update some of my earlier spreads. So for Hall of Fame, that is my favorite books from each month, and I still need to stick down January's as well, which was Blood over Brighthaven. And then for February, I chose Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. I'm not filling out my books red page because I want to change the colours on that bookshelf. I'm changing my key a little bit, so leaving that for another day. And then I also need to update the fantasy book club page because the girl who runs it has changed some of the books a little bit. So I just need to print out some new covers and just kind of sort this page out. So again, I'm just kind of leaving that. But those are my spreads done. So there's January, in case you haven't seen that video, I'll link that earlier. And that is my February spread. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this